Alright guys, today I'm going to mix it up a little bit and answer some 20 questions for the VC vinyl tag. Apparently you're supposed to do this at the beginning of the year, but I didn't really know because I was kind of new to the whole YouTube thing and new to the vinyl community. So better late than never, you know? So without further ado, here we go. VC vinyl tag 20 questions. First video you ever saw in the VC? I don't even know, because it would have been about a year ago. I'm sure it was a video by Naz Nomad, or it was probably one of his videos, and I don't remember which one exactly, unfortunately. Favorite record that you discovered via a VC video? A lot of people put this into Hannah's, the Omaha Introverts 500 subs contest, as their favorite psych album, or one of their favorite psych albums, and it's Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues. And I never gave this a chance, probably never would have listened to this otherwise, and looked it up on YouTube, loved it, and yeah, so I had to get it. What are your other hobbies? Playing guitar, recording my own music, hunting, fishing, photography, and playing video games and stuff too. Why did you start to collect? I saw the movie Almost Famous in probably like 2008. I was like 14 or 15. Fell in love with that movie, and all I wanted to do was be William Miller. And there's a pretty pivotal point at the beginning of the movie where his sister tells him to check under his bed, and she left him her record collection. It's got like Tommy by The Who, I think Axis Bold as Love is in there, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out, I know that's in there, and maybe like Green Grass and High Tides by, or Big Hits or whatever by the Rolling Stones, and a few other iconic albums from the late 60s are in there, and I thought, man, that's awesome. I want to be like William Miller. I gotta collect vinyl. So a year or two later, I started going to Half Price Books with my sister because I couldn't drive, and she would help me pick out cool albums and whatnot because I didn't know jack shit about anything. I knew the records that were in that movie, and I knew some stuff. Like I knew that Clapton was in the Yardbirds, and I liked Clapton, so I'd get something from the Yardbirds or whatever, but I didn't know a whole lot. Didn't know the value of presses or anything. I just really wanted to be William Miller. Do you play an instrument, or are you in a band? I do play an instrument, but I am not in a band. I play guitar. Here is my baby. It's a Gibson Les Paul from 2001. This is a standard, and I've swapped out the knobs. This is a Pearly Gates double white pickup, and I put a Chicago Blackhawks sticker on the back because I am one of 3 fans in Houston, Texas that like hockey. And yeah, this is my baby. Just an FYI, it's about to get a little loud, so bear with me. I wonder if any of these are copyrighted. Ever work in a record store? Nope. Always worked in construction. Favorite album from the year you were born? It's just too easy. Siamese Dream by the Smashing Pumpkins. What classic record have you never heard? I'm going to have to go with Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. I have no interest in Bruce Springsteen. I can't stand his voice. I know that's probably going to piss some people off. Sorry, Terry, but just not my cup of tea whatsoever. Sorry. Show a guilty pleasure record. Like Naz Nomad said, I don't really have any guilty pleasures. I stand pretty firm with everything that I listen to, and I'm not ashamed of anything I listen to or anything I've ever done. So I don't really care what people think about me or what I listen to. But something you might not know I'm into is hip-hop, and I really like A Tribe Called Quest. So this is Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. And The Chase Part 2 is their best song. Strangest record. I got this because my granddad was in the Coast Guard, and it's Songs of Action by the U.S. Coast Guard Academy Singers. And it's literally just a bunch of sea shanties by the U.S. Coast Guard singers, I guess. And, yeah. The next thing is show a picture disc. So here is a picture disc of ZZ Top. It is an interview with them. But pretty rad. Best posthumous release is very subjective. I don't know if I can say what the best is, but I can definitely say what my favorite is, or one of my favorites currently, and that is Closer, or Closer, by Joy Division. This was released about 2 months after Ian Curtis's suicide, and yeah, I think this is one of the best posthumous albums ever. What artists do you impulsively collect? Dude, there's so many. The Rolling Stones, Lynyrd Skynyrd, ZZ Top, Quicksilver Messenger Service, the Black Keys, Black Angels, Howlin' Wolf, Chicago. There's a bunch more that I'm not thinking of. Give me a second and I can think of some more. The Ink Spots, Albert King, Howlin' Wolf, don't know if I already said him or not. Arcade Fire. And I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of. I'll put the Rolling Stones in there again for emphasis. Best Blind Buy. Well, when I was a young child, and first got into collecting vinyl records after watching Almost Famous. I vaguely knew about the Yardbirds. I knew that Clapton was in them, and so were Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page, but I didn't listen to a whole lot of Zeppelin, and I didn't listen to really any Jeff Beck. So I happened to buy this compilation called The Yardbirds, Shapes of Things, a collection of classic Yardbirds recordings from 1964 to 66. And I got this, I think this is like a 77 compilation or something like that. But this was one of the first albums that I ever bought. And I went into this pretty damn blind, because I was not expecting what I got at all. I was expecting, I don't know, Cream or, Led Zeppelin or something. Not this rock and psychedelic, almost like power pop kind of stuff, the singles that they would do. But For Your Love, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, Smokestack Lightning, all those Clapton era hits are awesome. But the ones that really got me were the Beck era songs on here, and I fell in love with the Yardbirds after this. So yeah, Best Blind Buy, Shapes of Things compilation by the Yardbirds. A blind spot artist. I guess that's an artist I don't listen too much or know too much about, but I'm gonna have to go with really any like 90s grunge artist. Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, all those, Soundgarden. Don't know much about them. Know a couple songs by each one. That's pretty much it. Your favorite album cover? Well, I have a few for different reasons, which you'll see. Chulahoma by the Black Keys. This is an album filled with songs by Junior Kimbrough that they covered, but I just love the artwork. I wish it was a gatefold, but these are most of like my favorite colors: black, orange, yellow, red. So I just think that's awesome and right up my alley. The Howlin' Wolf album, mainly because of its simplicity, and I find it baffling that a record label as prominent as Chess would release something, or put the all clear on something that clearly says he doesn't like it. I don't know why they would say the artist doesn't like the album. That has to damage sales, and it did. But I just think that that's absolutely hilarious. So we have the Howlin' Wolf album for its simplicity, and this one I'm picking for its complexity, and that is the 13th Floor Elevators, Psychedelic Sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators. This album, the back's pretty psychedelic too. I mean, this is pretty much the quintessential album cover of the psychedelic rock genre, and one of the essential album covers of like the 60s. It's so vibrant, it captures that 60s psych spirit so well, and it exemplifies and portrays the music that's on the inside perfectly. And yeah, this is another favorite of mine. A musician you've met. Eric Johnson, the Black Angels, Bun B, Graham Nash twice, Devon Allman, and Grace Potter, Nathaniel Rateliff, and there might be more, I don't know. Show a record with sentimental value. I have a lot of albums with sentimental value, a lot that friends have given me, but there's a couple that are above all else, which is kind of funny because these are cheap albums otherwise. But whenever my parents got married in the 80s, they sold most of their record collection and kept what they deemed the cream of the crop. So, like, my mom kept her Van Halen albums, and my dad kept his Jimmy Buffett albums. But the one album that they both had, because there were 2 copies in there, so I'm assuming that each one of them had a copy of this, is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. So one of these, theoretically, was my dad's, and one was my mom's. Second to last question is your favorite album no one else seems to know about. I don't know if it's that no one knows about these because they have sold a lot of albums, but I don't see them getting a lot of love in the vinyl community, and a lot of my friends don't know that they exist, so I'm throwing this out there. This is Black Rebel Motorcycle Club's Live in London. This is when they were on their, I believe, 2010 tour promoting Beat the Devil's Tattoo, so it's got a lot of songs from that on it, and most of their best songs from Howl and the albums before it. So yeah, this album is awesome. I highly recommend Beat the Devil's Tattoo and Spectre at the Feast by the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, and I also highly suggest Live in London and Live in Paris, which I unfortunately do not have, but am currently after. But yeah, Live in London, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, I think it's very underrated. Favorite album out of a genre you don't know well? Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. I don't know a whole lot of jazz. I know the guys who did jazz, I know a lot of those artists, but I do not know a lot of the albums, and I just haven't really delved too deep into that. But Kind of Blue is awesome. So What is a great song, and yeah, an album from a genre that I don't really know well. Kind of Blue, Miles Davis.